Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I say good morning because I'm here in the UK, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry.
I'm Julie Hadmew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans and followers of the show will know by now that we're part of the Creatives Group, the network for creative professionals everywhere. Together, we help you create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, therefore helping you to grow your creative business. That sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to join our growing number of creative professionals? Please don't hesitate to get in touch with us after the show. But this is On the Couch with Creatives. So Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
Well, we have two people on the couch today, Jonathan Storey and Bradley Brady. Until recently, Jonathan headed up a chain of about 200 stores for the Walt Disney Company. And Bradley also has had a varied career in retail and most recently has also authored a trilogy of novels. And together they are about to launch their own retail business, a retro toy and collectible store and cafe experience, specialising in sci-fi, fantasy and animation. So this chat is going to be a lot of fun, folks. So let's get them on the couch, Melanie. Hello, Bradley. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for coming on the couch with Creative.
Thank you. Nice. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Vic.
And I believe you are an old friend of Melanie's, Jonathan.
Yes, I worked with Melanie at the Disney store. Gosh, I think it's about 30 years ago now. So very old friends.
Yeah, I'm delighted to have Jonathan on the couch. He was our marketing director for many years, and then he got snapped off to America to progress his career. So I haven't seen him for quite a while, and I'm delighted that he's back in the UK. And I'm really, really interested to hear about this next chapter that we're going to be talking about later that is coming next. But before we do, Jonathan, just give us a little history of your time with Disney Store.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I joined Disney Store back in 1992. So I've been in retail my entire career. But then found a Disney store, fell in love with the Disney store and just had to go and work for them. And at Disney store, I started off as a store manager, but then moved into the behind the scenes, into the office side as Disney store expanded across the globe. And I got to do many, many different roles with Disney over a 30-year period. I can't believe 30 years went by at Disney before I finally departed ways with them. But I got to do many roles. And as you mentioned earlier, Melanie, my last 11 years was with Disney in North America, heading up the Disney store and then subsequently shopdisney.com for the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was quite because I remember the online was just really happening as I was kind of coming out. That was just starting to come into its own, the online retail experience for Disney. It was all quite new by the time I was leaving. So it's very interesting for me to see how that expanded. To be honest, I'm a bit of a shopaholic and I do love going on Disney Store. And, you know, if I can't make it into a Disney store, at least I've got it at my fingertips now, which is absolutely fabulous. Dangerous for my credit card, but absolutely fabulous nonetheless.
Yeah.
And Bradley, tell us how you got to know Jonathan. How did you meet, you two?
I've actually known Jonathan since we were 14. And I actually moved in across the street from him. And I met his brother first. And his brother found out I collected Star Wars action figures. He said, "Oh, my brother collects those. Oh, I don't think he's got that one." And literally 5 minutes later, Jonathan appears, almost breathless, to see this action figure I didn't have. And we did a swap and became friends, and then the kind of rest is history, really.
Oh,
and you still enjoy all the action figures? You still enjoy all the toys, obviously?
I'm afraid so. We haven't quite matured past it yet. And it's been 40 years. So, and hopefully, as part of this interview, you'll get to find out we're now making our business as well. So we're both avid collectors, and we both have a passion for those kind of genres around retro toys and collectibles, science fiction, fantasy, animation, those kind of things. So we're turning that into our business. I mean, the reality is 30 years at Disney, it's been my life anyway, my career anyway. But now I'm moving on and making it our own personal business.
What are you going to be calling it?
Our business is called Cosmic Galactic Trading Outpost. I know that's a bit of a mouthful. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I think people will get to know us as Cosmic Joe's. But yeah, we're going to specialise in retro toys and collectibles, specifically, as I mentioned, science fiction, fantasy, and animation.
Or shades of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, surely.
Yeah. We've created, as Jonathan, I'm sure we'll expand on later, a whole backstory. The business isn't just a common sort of store you'd go into, just product in it. It's an experience. It's got a whole theme, it's got a whole backstory, characters. So the Disney element of Jonathan's career is really at the heart of what we're doing now.
Yeah, and the storytelling is a big part of it. You know, Disney master storytellers, and I'm fascinated because one of my lasting memories is of your office, Jonathan, which was like an Aladdin's cave. You could go into Jonathan's office and completely forget about what you were supposed to be talking to him about in there, because there were shelves and shelves of wonders, of all these little figures and toys in his room. I was a demon for plushies, so you could never see my computer because I had lots of plushies like everywhere and I was buried under soft toys. But Jonathan's office was a lot more orderly, with his little collectible figures, but you could get lost in there. It was a treasure trove. So this is going to be a really awful question for you, Jonathan. Do you have a favourite item that you just really, you know, if you were trapped on a desert island or anywhere, what was the one thing that you would save from your collection if you could only save one thing?
It would probably be my Princess Leia vintage action figure from 1978, mint on its card. I'm a huge Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher fan, and that's my most prized possession. But I could sit here and list off 1,000 items in my various collections. But I don't just collect Disney, I collect Star Wars, I collect Lego, I collect Smurfs, and the list goes on. So I've got that collector gene in me, which has been with me my entire life, I think, because I've always been a collector since I was a small child. So, but yeah, that Princess Leia action figure is very special to me.
Well, Princess Leia is the sexual fantasy of a whole generation of young boys. Where do you keep all your little toys, if you don't mind me asking, Jonathan? Do you have a special room for this?
Rooms, I wish, multiple. I think they're throughout the house, and now about to be throughout our store and cafe. So we're kind of making it our business, as I mentioned, and our store, because as Bradley mentioned, it's very much an experience. So it'll have a combination of a retail element, a cafe, so food, and also an event area. And it'll be an immersive themed experience. And within it, we're going to have what we're currently calling the archives, which would be like an exhibition space. So we'll have historical displays of vintage retro toys and memorabilia for different themes on a rotation basis. And some of our collections will actually feature in that from time to time. Having worked for the Walt Disney Company for 30 years, I kind of amassed a unique collection of memorabilia, and some of it I want to keep hold of. Some of it we're going to part ways with, so there'll be some very special items available at Cosmic Joe's that you just can't get anywhere else. But yeah, it's kind of displayed all over the place, really. It's our house, wherever we've moved to over the years, has never been your typical house. It's always had every room has been themed, and every room tells a different story. And our new house here, back in the UK, although still a work in progress, because our focus really is on opening a new business right now, but will be no different to our previous homes.
How Melanie described Jonathan's office at work, that was basically how our house has always been as well. So we've always kind of lived surrounded by collectibles. The great thing is Jonathan has a great visual eye. So the things are always displayed really well, and it's not just stuff on shelves. It's always, as Jonathan said, with a story behind it and displayed in a way that people who visit the house are just captivated and kind of want to see all of it.
Now, I don't want to lower the vibration, guys, but I'm a big fan of the Big Bang Theory, and those guys are just bananas about all their little action figures and their sabers, lightsabers, and all that. And what comes across really clear is that people that collect or who collect these kind of things are absolutely obsessed with them. When you open your cafe, you're going to have to put these things behind armed guard, aren't you? Glass cabinets, aren't you?
There's a lot of cabinets in our store, a lot of glass cabinets, locked cabinets. So yes, and it's not just about from the security perspective. It's about treating these pieces of almost as works of art. A lot of these are treasures to people. A lot of these are more valuable and precious to people than antiques and historical artifacts. That's how they're viewed in the collector world. So we want to treat them with the respect that these items deserve, because they are, in many cases, rare and hard to come by nowadays. And we're not just going to appeal to collectors. Yeah, Bradley and I are diehard collectors and almost fanatical, you could argue. But there's a lot of people that just love the nostalgia. We'll have toys from the 60s, 70s, 80s onwards. And I think everyone loves seeing something that they remember from their childhood, because it gives them that positive feeling, those warm feelings, and brings back all that nostalgia. And I think we'll even appeal to people that have no collections at home, but come in and see something that they remember from their childhood and just want to take a piece of memorabilia home with them. So I think we're going to have quite a broad appeal in that respect.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say that really we all pretend we're adults, but we always carry the kid inside us, don't we?
Absolutely. And we're going to bring that out in Cosmic JO'S. I kind of challenge anyone to walk into what will be our new store and cafe without smiling, without having a positive feeling, and without being uplifted from whatever's going on out in the outside world or in their personal life. Cosmic JO'S will be an element of escapism from reality. Because as Bradley mentioned, we're creating a whole backstory. It's not just a shop. It's not just a cafe. In fact, in the city of Norwich, which is where we're opening Cosmic JO'S, there's other collectible stores. Trust me, there's many, many, many cafes. But we hope we're going to offer an environment that is unique, targeting families and fans, children, people of all ages are going to love Cosmic JO'S. But we just think that environment is going to offer something special that no one else has. But this backstory we created a group of aliens who themselves from another galaxy who love collecting themselves. This group of aliens is headed up by Cosmic Joe and his group of friends. So they all collect memorabilia, toys and collectibles themselves, and they discover Earth. They fall in love with Earth pop culture. So they decide to open a galactic trading outpost on Earth. And the Cosmic JO'S is that outpost. And as you go through the store, it's got a very retro sci-fi look to it. And there's a lot of call-outs and just things that are unusual, are purely there to entertain, such as we have a galactic portal that allows you to glimpse into Cosmic JO'S galaxy, and you get to see his home planet. And it's just there to entertain and help tell that story. So we're having a lot of fun with this story, and you'll see the theming very much all based around Cosmic JO'S planet and his home world and his home spaceship and so on. So it'll be a great place for all ages to come and enjoy.
It sounds marvellous. And I want to talk to Bradley now, because Bradley, you have just finished a trilogy of novels, I believe. So how much did you were obviously involved in writing and crafting the story behind it? And I imagine Jonathan being very much the visual element of bringing it to life, alive. So tell us a little bit about the books that you've written, and then how you worked with Jonathan on the story of Cosmic JO.
So when we moved to the States in 2011, it was before equal marriage in the United States. So initially I was on the tourist visa, I wasn't able to work. So had to find something to do with my time. And I always wanted to write, but work and other things always got in the way. I'd never got enough time together to do it. So I decided this was the perfect opportunity. And I'd always been really interested in writing fiction. A lot of the writers I admired, Alan Hollinghurst, Armistead Maupin, those were kind of my heroes. And I thought, oh gosh, I'd love to. I know I probably won't write to that level, but I want to put my books out into the world. And so I just started writing. The first book was a big learning experience because I'd never written such length before. But I put that out, and it seemed to go well. It hit number one on Amazon Gay Fiction in the US and the UK for a while, which was nice. And so then I decided I would make it a trilogy and finish the other two books. So they are now on Amazon. The first one's called Commitment Issues, which is free to download. And if you like that, there's the two sequels as well. And in terms of creating the story for Cosmic Joe, it's very much a team effort. We've decided that as far as we're concerned, this is something we've created together, because whoever had the initial spark of an idea, it kind of develops by working together on the story. Certainly, I've helped on the word side, and Jonathan's clearly the visual master, but it's the team effort. We bounce ideas from each other, and it's kind of gone through multiple iterations as it's developed to this group of characters we're launching now. But it's been a lot of fun creating it as well.
Yeah.
Why Norwich? Are you based in Norwich?
We were both born in Norfolk, in a town called Great Yarmouth. Most people may have heard of Great Yarmouth, so it's about 20 miles from Norwich. We have a lot of family, a lot of history here, although we both left Norfolk kind of very early on in our lives. But our family's here, and I think with the pandemic, it really woke us up to the fact that how far away we were from our family and friends and couldn't get to see them for a long period of time. So when we knew the decision was coming along that we were going to have to move and change our lives and look for a new chapter, we felt what better place to do it than Norfolk. And Norwich is a great city to settle down. It's a lovely city, a lot of character, but also from starting our business point of view, we figured that it has a great catchment area in Norwich. It has a good student population, which we think would be a core customer for us. And it's also a great tourist city. So hopefully we'll get a lot of customers from tourists traveling through Norwich. So that also made sense from a business standpoint and not just a personal standpoint.
It also seems somehow to have a higher than average number of people into science fiction, fantasy and animation. It's got a very big kind of, I hate the term nerd, but nerd culture is very big in Norwich. And it's become mainstream now, really, all of that. And there's a lot of fan groups, a lot of cosplaying, a lot of conventions and things that happen in Norwich already. So it's like we're kind of coming home to our people in a way.
Mm. Yeah,
I love it. Coming home to our people. I love that.
Cosmic Joe's. I'm really excited about this, I have to say, because again, when we were together at Disney, Jonathan, the imagination stores had just been kind of given birth to, if you like. And anybody who is listening who has been to a Disney store, it's not just a store where you go and buy things. It is an experience. And for you, bringing that kind of magical experience, real customer experience into a store, which I imagine, Jonathan, you're going to do extremely well, having been in charge of it for so many years at Disney. I think it's going to be a really wonderful thing. And I've seen your graphics and your branding for that, and I love it. And me, obviously being me, I've got visions in my head and storytelling head, and I can see this as a cartoon. I can see it as a whole franchise. So who knows? Maybe Cosmic Joe's will wend its way to Disney one day, and we will see it on the Disney Channel as a lovely cartoon.
That would be wonderful.
Your show.
This was kind of the joke we had, because basically we wanted to have one more kind of adventure in our careers before retirement beckoned. And I said to Jonathan, this is fine doing this one shot, but I know you and I know how you operate. I know your work ethic and your dreaming. I very much doubt this is going to stay being one shot for very long, because if it is successful as we hope, then I know he's going to want to be able to grow it and things. And so I'm kind of gearing myself up to, what might come down the line. Certainly for now, we just want to make a real success of the store and sort of launch it well. But who knows where this may all lead, given Jonathan's kind of experience and
yeah, but you can see it. This is the first step. You can see global franchise all over this.
Superstar.
I would be fine with that, but it's certainly not what I've signed up to at the moment.
With Bradley's writing skills and my illustrative skills, he could write the books and the cartoons, and I could illustrate them. So we'd be a great partnership there. But we actually, going back to that backstory of these 5 aliens, this group of aliens, we did go into fine detail because we even know what flavour milkshake Cosmic Joe loves. We know a lot of their characteristics, and so we've written that level of detail. And if you visit Cosmic Joe's, you may not see or hear all of that, but the fact that we've written it is one of those lessons I learned at Disney. If you put the time into creating that backstory and the finer detail, even though it may never come to surface, it allows you to really immerse yourself in that world. So when you are creating that world, the attention to detail, it just becomes that much more real. And the customer, the person experiencing that show, it's going to feel much more real to them as well. So it's worth investing that time in writing that backstory.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're creating the universe, the universe of which your characters are living in, and that was explained to us and another guest we had on the couch, Thorber, who is a game designer, and he is a big advocate of story and good storytelling, and he said you're creating the universe, and that's what you guys are doing. You're creating your world, your universe. You're emotionally invested in it and inviting others to share in that universe, that special place with you, and I think it's absolutely marvellous.
We had a lot of fun creating it, actually. Although I'm eager to write many more stories about it already, because every time I'm working on a little bit of the store, the store design, the story is growing in my head the whole time. I kind of have too many ideas to deliver in one go, but lots to park for another day.
So when can we expect to see Cosmic Joe's open its doors, Jonathan?
Well, we're scheduled. We're not advertising the exact date yet because we want to give ourselves some flexibility. We would hate to open late and disappoint people that may want to travel far and wide to come and visit Cosmic Joe's, but we are tracking towards end of October. Mm-hmm. We really want to be, as a retailer, we want to be open in that build up to the all-important Christmas rush, which is obviously critical for most retail businesses, ensure their annual success. So we want to maximize as much of that Christmas rush as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And how, obviously, you have been with Disney for a very long time, and this is a new venture for you, coming out and doing it on your own, so to speak, although you have the wonderful Brady there with you. But coming from a corporate background, as anybody has, myself included, coming from a corporate background, suddenly going it alone and doing your own thing can be terrifying. Exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating and terrifying. How have you found the process, and can you give us any top tips for anybody else looking at this thinking, I want to try this idea or that idea? What advice would you give, your 3 top tips for anybody wanting to quit the day job and go after their dream, whatever that may be?
I love how you describe the emotions. Exciting, terrifying, exciting, terrifying.
That's basically been our
That's every week right now, because the excitement is overshadowed often by sheer terror. And having worked, I've worked in corporate life, and you've worked in public sector for much of our careers. But I've worked in corporate world for over 35 years between Disney and my previous role. So going it alone I think I underestimated how dramatically different it is to corporate life. At Disney Store, I headed up several hundred Disney stores. I had a team of 6,000 plus cast members working for me, reporting up through to me. I had different specialist teams for every element of running the Disney stores and the online store. And I relied on their expertise. Of course, I gave them the vision and I tried to steer the ship. But I had this amazing team of talent to go and bring everything to life for me. Whereas when you're a small band, trying to pull off all those, maybe our standards based on that corporate experience are extremely high. Based on Disney experience, should I say, are extremely high. We're trying to deliver a phenomenal experience, first-class experience with phenomenal customer service, because that's something that we're both incredibly passionate about, that there's just not enough of it out there anymore. It's hard to find good customer service nowadays. It's hard to pull all of that off when you're such a small band and you're working on a budget, because you don't have big corporate budgets to work with anymore, but you're trying to achieve a similar standard and it's not easy. So it is a bit stressful. I'm a great believer in setting the standards and goals incredibly high, even if you don't quite get to that, because the higher you aim for, the higher you're going to achieve.
We're both perfectionists, which doesn't help us.
No,
so sometimes we have to just accept it's not going to be, we're just going to, our good enough is good enough sometimes, and you can't always have everything exactly as you'd wish for it.
We're going to make some mistakes.
It's your money on the line. It's your money on the line. You don't have, as you said, this huge corporate budget, and you don't have that corporate safety net either. With all due respect, you could be a total idiot, and you'd still be safe in your job in the corporate world. Whereas when you're on your own, this is
nowhere to hide.
Lives on the line.
You truly have to take responsibility for every decision you make. On a positive note, and this was something working in corporate life that used to frustrate me, and I'm sure frustrates most people working for a big corporation, we can do all of this without any red tape. I knew my years at Disney, every time I had an idea, I would have to sell it to 50 different people and convince them that it was a great idea. And then even then, you'd have to jump through hoops to be able to make that become a reality. Nothing was made easy. And you would have to sit in continual meetings to try and get through an idea. Whereas now, if we have an idea,
it's just me.
Just him I need to convince, and then we steam ahead and make it a reality. And that saves you a lot of money. That a lot of big corporations, if I can say the word, waste so much resource and money because of the corporate red tape that they create for themselves. That actually hinders creativity a lot of the time. Whereas when we approached Cosmic Joe, we haven't had any of that. Nice. We had what we felt was a great idea, and it's just the hard work to make that a reality. But that's a big, big difference between working in corporate life and working for yourself.
We did have those three things, to your question, Melanie, those 3 points we were going to share with you from our experience that might be helpful for others who want to do the same thing.
Yeah, the first one is vision. You have to have a strong vision before you take that leap of faith. Don't say you're going to take the leap of faith and start making it happen before you have a clear vision. And bring in that storytelling into that vision and make sure it's unique and it's different to anything else out there. But vision is critical before you even attempt to start investing money in it.
Yeah, and then the other thing we've learned is planning, and planning sort of really do as much as you can. We had to wait quite a long while to get the lease on the property we had, and obviously there's only so much you can do before you've got the keys to your property. But we did a lot of planning in that time, and the thing that we've learned, which is probably most surprised us and we haven't prepared for as well as we could have if we'd known better, is actually relying on third parties. So when you've got people coming in to do work for you, they don't always do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. And it doesn't always have the end result that you were promised. And that's happened to us more than once. In fact, unfortunately, on the majority of the times we've brought in other people to help us, it's taken longer, cost more, and been less perfect than we would have hoped for. So we've had to learn to roll with those kind of punches as well. So yes, plan as much as you can, but also be ready to kind of adapt those plans to events.
That was kind of one of our big learns coming back. I hate saying it, but the disappointment of the lack of customer service in a lot of industries that we've used since we've returned back to the UK. And again, it reinforced more than ever our desire to make sure that Cosmic Joe's delivered a phenomenal customer service and really treated every person that walked through the doors of Cosmic Joe's as a VIP. And we've talked about a lot of industry offer white glove service. Well, with Cosmic Joe's, we're going to offer a blue glove service because Cosmic Joe is blue. And we really want to excel at that and make sure everyone that walks through our doors feels welcome, feels special, and feels part of the Cosmic Joe family. And we're going to go out of the way to make sure that's a reality. And yeah, we're going to make mistakes. We're only human. We're going to learn fast in those early weeks and months. But nonetheless, our ultimate goal will be this amazing customer service.
And the final kind of tip I think we'd give people, which goes to something we talked about earlier, is the flexibility. If you're coming to this from working as part of an organisation or a corporation, and then you're on your own, you need to understand you're going to be doing everything. You're going to be painting the walls, you're going to be lifting boxes. You're also going to be doing all the HR, all of the finance. There's a lot of rules and regulations you have to get your head around when you start a business. I've had to start up pension schemes. I've had to work out food safety requirements. It's a lot of stuff that you're going to be wearing lots and lots of hats all the time, and you just need to accept that what your plans were for that day, you're going to go out the window 9 times out of 10. You just have to be flexible and ready to just do everything that needs to be done with a smile on the face if you can manage it, which I do probably 90% of the time.
So there are top 3 tips. Vision, have a very clear vision. Planning, start planning as soon as you possibly can and never stop planning. And then flexibility, be prepared to be incredibly flexible. And even if it's in an area of expertise you're not rehearsed in, learn fast and become as flexible as you possibly can.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that most business owners do find out fairly quick, is that they learn quick. They learn quick because it's that kind of cycle, as we were saying about the terrors, like, oh shit. Learning that didn't work. Moving on. But at least, as you say, when you're in control, you are in control of that. You don't quite have to say that the red tape. If you make a mistake, you don't have to be paying for it for the rest of your life. You can say, right, okay, this was not how I wanted, but we've learned from that. We're going to move on and we're going to make it better the next time. And that's the wonderful freedom of being self-employed. And as you say, choosing your partners carefully. I mean, we've all come a cropper where we've partnered up with someone or we've expected something to happen and it hasn't happened quite as we wanted. And coming from somewhere that is just so perfect, like Disney, I came out from that expecting, working for the people that I worked with, when I said do something, it got done. I was not expecting anybody to sort of not do it or argue with me or do it next week. It's like, no, I said do it. I meant today, now. Thank you very much. And that took my head a little while to get around that. I wasn't going to have that instant, yes, Melanie, I'll do it now. But it does. And I think you do. But that's all part of the fun and the journey, is because you adapt and you grow and you flow, and your journey in 5 years' time is going to be nowhere near what it's like today, and you're going to look back on this and think, oh my goodness, this was us when we were starting out, and oh my God, this is us now, and it will be a wonderful, wonderful journey.
So let's delve into these creative and imaginative minds of yours. So Melanie's going to dig out her Values Jam card. And while she has a moment with them, I'll just tell you what it's about. You're going to pick a card and she'll hold it up, and we will talk about the value on that card and what it means to you in all sorts of wondrous and creative ways. There are no right or wrong answers in this game. Just talk about what pops into your head, no matter how bizarre it sounds.
Okay.
Ready?
Right, can you see my card? I'm going to put my finger on my card. You're going to yell stop at a point and we'll pick a card.
Stop.
What did you pick? You picked. Oh. Every time we do this, we pick brilliant. Well, our guests, we don't pick them. Our guests pick brilliant cards for the topic that we've been discussing. This is a very good one for both of you two, and for what we've been talking about. You picked self-discipline.
Okay.
The value of self-discipline, and again, now being sole traders, being on your own, self-discipline is going to be extremely important to you. But because we're all creatives here, we're going to ask you creatively about self-discipline. It's not going to be a straightforward question. So we want to know, Bradley and Jonathan, what self-discipline means to you. We want to know what you think it looks, feels, and sounds like.
I think what's interesting, because obviously self-discipline is an individual thing, but because we're now partners in life and partners in business, it's kind of your self-discipline when you're part of a couple in that way isn't your own. There is give and take between the two of you, because you not only have those sort of pressures you put on yourself and the things you know you've got to deliver yourself, you similarly have expectations of your partner that they're going to deliver certain things as well. And so it becomes, I mean, we've been together over 25 years as a couple. So, you know, I think we've welded each other into the form we'd like as much as we're going to get. So we've kind of reached, you know, everything that we haven't fixed in each other by now, we have to live with. And so I think, obviously, you do, as we've talked about before, you have to make sure that you're delivering everything that you need to deliver, but you also need to be able to rely on your partner that they're doing that too. And if one of you is perhaps not being able to deliver in the right way, is finding ways to support each other, that you're kind of delivering that as a team, and not, you know, it's no good blaming someone else when things go wrong. It's especially, we always said, like, we're not going to argue if something goes wrong in the business. We're going to have good days, we're going to have bad days, but if something goes wrong, let's not look to blame or to find the fault in the other person why that didn't happen. How are we going to fix this? Because you can have all the self-discipline in the world and all the preparation and kind of all the belief in yourself, but you're still going to fail occasionally. And the point is, you learn from that, you talk it through, and you try and build on it and do it better next time. And similarly, if your partner falls, be there to pick them up. Don't be there to kick them as they fall.
I'm not sure what I can add to that. I think gave a nice in-depth answer there. I think to one of Bradley's earlier points in that answer, though, we do complement each other quite well. We have very different skill sets that we bring to the table, and we know what they are because as Bradley mentioned, we've known each other since we were teenagers, and we've officially been together for the past 25 years. So we've got to learn those skills, those strengths and weaknesses incredibly well. But yeah, I'm not sure I could add anything else to his answer, really.
Tell us what colour self-discipline is and what it smells like.
What it smells like.
Smells like marshmallow.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Discipline is purple.
Purple.
Without
Purple marshmallow.
for me.
You can put that in your shop. Café, purple marshmallow.
We're on the same page.
Because they're both things that make me feel, they're both things I desire to have around me, marshmallows, and I love the colour purple. And there were things that make me feel good when I achieve them as well. So
brilliant. I love that. I really like that. We did, we throw that in because I made a mistake in one of my interviews, like a failing, and we usually ask these questions: what does it sound like? What does it feel like? And I came out, rather than sound, I said, what does it smell like? And my guest went, oh, I've said it now. What does it smell like? And it just
one of our standard questions now. What does it smell like?
I think smells are really powerful, though, aren't they? I think this is one of the senses that we don't think about much, but actually probably has more effect on our well-being and state of mind than all the others, perhaps. We just don't talk about it much. We all know when we've got a nice smell, and we all know when we haven't got a good smell around us. And I think they do affect you.
Yeah, it's funny you
Cosmic
mention that
Joe's
because
favourite
one of our creative members is a graphic designer and a branding strategist. And he said they use smell in marketing in shops. So you should consider talking to him about the smell of Cosmic Joe's.
I've got a thing we've just decided it's going to be marshmallow.
There we go.
The Cosmic Joe's signature flavour, which is probably maybe partially why I thought about purple, is grape. So that would be Cosmic Joe's signature flavour. We'll do grape slushies, we'll do grape milkshakes at Cosmic Joe's. So if you like grape flavour, Cosmic Joe's is the place to go. I'm
coming for the marshmallows. I'm there. I love marshmallows. You should do purple marshmallows, and I'm coming. I was going to ask you one last question before we finish, because we're talking about obviously Disney has cast members. Do you have something like that for yours? So what are the staff of Cosmic Joe's going to be known as?
We do. We've created a whole glossary of terms for Cosmic Joe's to tie in with the story. Our staff will be called curators, cosmic curators. So they're the curators. Cosmic curators are there to help tell the story and bring the story to life. And our customers, at Disney, we call them guests. Our customers are going to be called collectors. Even if they're not a collector, we view them as a potential collector. So we'll have the collectors and we'll have the curators to tell the story. And one of the things, I've been a collector my whole life, and so has Bradley, as we mentioned earlier. And I think a lot of people that have come to our store and cafe will be collectors, but we hope to inspire a new generation of collectors as well. One of the things over the years, because I've had an extensive Star Wars collection in our house. We've got an extensive Disney collection. And anytime we've had friends or family that have brought children to the house, I've always given them a gift to take away to remember the time they visited the Star Wars collection or Disney collection. And so many times those friends and family have come back to me later on and said, "Oh, thanks to you, my child now collects this or now collects that," after they saw your collection. And that's what we want to do. We want the children who may not be collectors now to come in and buy their first action figure or their first figurine and want to become collectors themselves because they've been inspired by Cosmic Joe's. And that's our plan. So have a lot of fun doing that.
That is lovely. And I wish you all, Julie and I'm sure, and all of our viewers wish you every success with it. I can feel when you open a little creatives road trip coming on, can't you, Julie? I think we'll get a bus.
Well, we have to bend their arms and get an invitation first. But
no, I'm just coming.
You're welcome anytime. We'd love to have you.
I'm coming. Thank you so much, Brady and Jonathan, for being our delightful guests on the couch and sharing your stories with us. And we can't wait. Do tell us when Galactic Joe's opens their doors, because we will be shouting it far and wide and encouraging people to come in, because I think it sounds absolutely amazing. I'm certainly going to come down, and we'll get a crew of creators to come down and have a look as well, because I think it's going to be fabulous. But that's all we've got time for today. So thank you so much, Julie. Thank you so much, Brady and Jonathan. Thank you so much to our viewers for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.
Bye.